Next year, Avowed is turning players loose in a whole new corner of the Pillars of Eternity universe.
Here to tease what's waiting for us in the Living Lands is Game Director Carrie Patel from Obsidian. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so the first thing that jumps out to me about this game is we've gotten a lot of open world fantasy games, and a lot of them for a long time were very sort of sepia tones, you know, a lot of browns and ochres, but this has major splashes of color everywhere. I love it. What sort of inspired this art direction? Because it feels like high fantasy.
Yeah, so big props to our project's art director, Matt Hansen. Color, vibrancy is super important to him, and it also really brings to life the fantasy of the Living Lands. And the lore of the Living Lands throughout Pillars is it's this kind of larger-than-life frontier island where you've got all these different biomes and monsters and kind of never-before-seen sights, and a place like that just has to be colorful.
Yeah, it's got that sort of 70s album cover flavor to it, which I love.
Yeah, I just want to point out also the dual-wielding wands is really selling it for me.
Yes. Wait till you try dual pistols.
Oh, yeah, it's so fast. I love it. So you were talking about the breathing world, and for me, I love exploration, but I also love storylines. So I wanted to ask, how many different endings are there in Avowed?
Ooh. Okay, that is very hard to say. I can tell you that our ending slides number in the double digits, and you can end up with a lot of different combinations of them. I mean, this is an Obsidian game, so your ending is really the sum total of your choices across the game, across a lot of pieces of content, depending on what you encountered and what you did when you found it.
So no pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah. So, I mean, this feels like something that is specifically designed to be experienced in multitudes of ways and replayed over and over. Is that something you're looking for players doing? Is just like playing this game repeatedly over and over in completely different variants and deviations and stuff like that?
Absolutely, and we've built our gameplay around giving you a lot of options for how you approach combat, how you build out your character. You can choose one of your classic fighter, rogue, wizard, fantasy archetypes, or you can choose something where you mix and match styles, you mix and match weapons. There's a lot of freedom in how you progress, and you can really build whatever kind of character you want to play. And in terms of the storyline, there are really a lot of choices to be made too, about kind of where your true loyalties lie, kind of who your allegiance is with in the end game, and so we're really excited to see players explore those possibilities and just build their own story.
So I'm definitely very new to the Pillars of Eternity universe. Will this be very beginner-friendly to kind of maybe spark their interest to research more about that universe?
Absolutely. So we're expecting that a lot of players are going to come to Avowed as their first game set in the world of Aora. So for players who are returning Pillars fans, there's certainly some callbacks, references, and cameos that they'll recognize. But for players who have never set foot in the world of Aora before, they're going to have a great time too. And we've built our game to draw them into this world. And one thing you might notice in some of the dialogue is we have these lore tooltips. So if you see a highlighted term that's unfamiliar, you can press X when it pops up and get a brief explanation of what that is without interrupting the flow of the conversation.
Oh, it's like my little ebooks where I get to see the description.
Just watching this play out here, it seems like there's a ton of different combat options and enemies. What are some of your personal favorites, Carrie?
Oh, goodness. Well, I love to hate healers because they undo all of your hard work. But some of my favorites are really the brute archetypes. They're these big, heavy hitters, which you can kind of see with the Godless Executioner that you're seeing in this run. What I love about them is they have these really big, heavy-hitting attacks, but they're also super easy to read. So it's really fun to maneuver and dodge around them, and every time they smack you, you're like, I wasn't paying attention, was I?
So you brought up rogue as a type that you can be. Can you steal from people's pockets?
There are a few dialogue options that let you do that. This isn't a game where we have a really thorough crime system, because my goodness, if you tick off everybody in the Living Lands, who do you have left? But yeah, you can make use of some of those skills.
Wait, okay. Can you actually kill a lot of the NPCs in this game? Like, I don't know if the quest NPCs are, impervious, but...
It's a totally fair question. In this game, we decided not to go with the kill everybody approach. It creates a lot of chaos and a lot of fun, but we felt we could create the game we wanted without that.
You'll have to get your aggression out elsewhere.
I know, I'm sorry. That was a very me question.
There are plenty of other things to kill, though.
Can I kill all the harmless people in the game? No, calm down.
All right.
So there are a lot of fantasy RPGs out now. There's been sort of a renaissance. What's something that you all knew you had to do to make Avowed sort of stick out and be its own thing?
So I think one thing we really wanted to do with this game is integrate the companions very closely into the experience and the story. So the companions have a whole lot of content to discover. A lot of it really is driven by the player. You know, you can choose to stop and talk to them at party camp, or you can say, you know what, we're on my adventure and we're just going to go forward, and that's fine too. But they will all play an integral role in your story. They have skills and perspectives that'll help you understand the world and also help you get where you need to go and survive along the way.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So, final question I want to ask, because you said there's so many endings. Is there one canon ending?
In my opinion, there's never a canon ending. It's your experience.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I will go out there and, I'll be a peacemaker this time.
Whatever
How about
ending you get, Stella, you can pretend that's the one that everyone thinks is the official canon for the end of the game.
that? The one time being the main character is okay. Well, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us. I am very excited to see Avowed later. And you can check out Avowed for yourself when it hits PC and Xbox Series X and S on February 18th. But right now, there's more Gamescom Studio on the way, so stick around.